So can the new Bias FX2 update match a bass sound entirely from your electric guitar? We're gonna find out in this video here. I break down their new guitar match feature that comes with 2 bass guitars. Let's see if it fooled you here. Okay, so you heard that playthrough. I'm using the new Bias FX2 guitar match, which includes basses. For a long time, guitarists have been trying to find a way to record bass, and there's obviously MIDI bass options that are available now, but it would be nice just to pick up your guitar and all-in-one plugin record a sound that's somewhat resembling a bass. Obviously not going to get 100% there, but I want to break down what they did. Do you think they got close? Let's go through all the features here. So what I want to do first off is open up Bias FX2 and show you what I did to get the bass sound that I'm using in the video. What I decided to do was, instead of running the guitar match through an amp and then just giving you that, I decided to take a track where I recorded a real bass guitar, use Bias FX2 as an output for like a bass DI, and then run that through the same processing so that you can see what kind of effect it has. So this is the DI sound. So I plugged in my Jackson guitar, I used guitar match, I used the P-Bass setup here. So especially in this pop punk kind of context track, I think that worked really well. I had the wet all the way up. I upped the presence high and mids. I feel like it was a little too filtered out sounding. Obviously, when you're adjusting a guitar down an octave, there's a lot of format issues that start to crop up. But I used the P-Bass. This is what it sounds like as a DI. Obviously not a full-on bass guitar, but not terrible either. Here's what the ignition bass DI sounded like. Let me take it out of the bus too so you can hear without any of the processing. Here's the P-Bass again. So both basses have a very different sound, and if you put an amp on them, they sound like this. So obviously they both sound filtered to a degree. That's going to be natural with this kind of thing. But what I did was I selected that P-Bass guitar match with those settings adjusted. They sounded better, believe me. And then I took what my original DI was, the processing, and I inserted that new Bias FX DI in there. So for example, here's the real bass track. The processing. Then here's what I did when I took the DI from that guitar match and put it through the same processing basically. So you can be the judge about how well that matches. It's not going to be 100% close to a bass guitar, but could it fool you in a mix? And that's what I wanted to go over here. If you're curious about the processing, I used some of the CLA Mix Hub just to add some compression and EQ. The CLA 76 stereo, I'm using the black channel with some compression and then some final little limiting at the end here. So that's what's happening there with those plugins. The amp I'm using is pretty straightforward. It's just the blue channel or the blue amps, the Ampeg setting that comes in Bias FX2. It's the same amp that I used for the real bass track. You can see the settings here. One thing I did like with this recent Bias upgrade is that it does seem that the DSP has been reduced for the plugin, which is very good because it got very difficult for me to run projects with 3 or 4 Bias FX2 plugins. They started to get really, really slow. It seems to be loading much more efficiently here, and I got to give them a lot of credit for that. So I'm using the Blue Line V2 with the stock cab, nothing crazy there, SM57 on it. So that's what I'm using for those. The amp sounds like this, and the DI sounds like this, compared to the my real bass guitar that I used. The amp sounds like this. The DI sounds like this. So if I go back and forth between both sounds, So like I said, not 100% there, but better than a lot of the approaches I've taken sometimes when I only have a guitar and I want to get bass, where you put a pitch plugin on, you pitch it down an octave. It just never sounds right, to be honest, never sounds that good. I think this is a good alternative if you're on the road and you're demoing and you want to get a bass guitar in there. You can do it all in one plugin. I think this is a great alternative. Now here's the test, right? We're going to play both of these with the track. So here's the chorus. This is with the Bias FX2 guitar match, where I'm matching it to a bass. And then here is the original bass track. One I think is obviously better, but this could fool someone, I think, in a demo where maybe the bass isn't soloed, right? I also want to show off, there's some parts where I moved to some higher strings and did some octave parts. Let me see if I can find that. So I'm hitting the octave there. I don't know if I'm doing that in the original. Doesn't appear to be. And then there's a part where I go higher up on the guitar. So I go higher up there. And then the full mix. Compared to the original here. So that's a quick breakdown of Positive Grid's Bias FX2 bass matching. Let me know, do you think it cuts it? Would you use that in a demo? I might use it in a demo, like I said, if I'm on the road or a real quick pinch, I want to add some bass guitar to a sound. I think it's a good enough substitute, right? It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to perfectly replace a bass guitar or a MIDI sound, but I think it's a cool new feature that they added, and I'm glad that they did so. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Let me know if there's anything else Positive Grid related that you'd like me to cover with the new update. I've been kind of diving into the plugin. I think it's nice they added some new features finally to the software. Please like and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. And anyways, I'll see you guys next time.